The earth is my home. I promise to keep it healthy and beautiful. I will love the land, the air, the water, and all living creatures. I will be a defender of my planet, united with friends. I will save the earth.
My name is Commissioner Frank Avila. I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And today the name of our show is A Bump on the Leg. And as my guest, I have James Mallon. He's a story writer and actor. James, glad to be on our show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. The title is A Bump on the Leg. And this is a title of a show and story that James wrote, A Bump on the Leg. Now, what do you prefer to be called, Jim or James? I called you James.
Well, my friends call me Jim, but James is when I sign my checks, you see.
Okay, yeah.
And actually, I just wrote the details for the story, and my friend...
And the story is what? A bump on the leg.
A bump on the leg.
Yeah, that's James' story, a bump on the leg.
And the playwright's name was Lee Johnson, so
Yes.
he wrote the play.
Okay, I see. And so on the play, your name is James Mallon.
James Mallon,
Yeah.
yes.
Now, where were you born, James?
I was born in County Armagh, Northern Ireland, on a small farm.
Okay,
And there was just my parents, my brother and I.
yes.
And I came to the United States in 1971.
So you're a farmer?
I was a farmer,
Yes.
yes. And of course I've had many jobs since that.
Yeah.
I spent a couple of years in the Army, and I've done mostly blue collar work.
Yeah.
And the last job I had was a doorman on Lakeshore Drive.
Doorman on Lakeshore Drive?
Yeah, Mayor Belandic's building.
Oh, yes. I remember the old mayor, the mayor of the city of Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1448.
Yes. Now, where do you live now?
I live in Jefferson Park on the northwest side of Chicago.
Yes.
And right now I'm in a retirement building, a seniors building,
Yeah.
on Lakeshore, on Northwest Highway.
See, now, is that where you wrote your story, A Bump on the Log, up there in Jefferson Park?
Well, 10 years ago, I was having a few drinks in the bar, and
Yeah.
I told a writer, the guy's name is Paul Carr.
Yeah.
He writes theater and
Yeah.
he writes movies, and he wrote it as a kind of a commentary.
I see.
So I tried to get other actors and producers
Yeah,
and directors interested, and this group came along, Subtext Theater, and they decided to write the play, and John Oster and Rocky Hadlock, they were the producers, and we've had a reading at Chief O'Neill's
I
already.
see. Now, Jim, you were born in Ireland. You came to Chicago. You served in the Army. Do you have a family here?
I've got two daughters here. Debbie teaches special education,
Yes.
and Tracy has her own business. She's a fashion designer, and she makes her own jewelry.
Oh, interesting. Now, what do you do for a living now?
Well, I am retired, but I'm retired about 12 years from the
Yeah.
doorman's
Yeah.
job, and now I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild here in Chicago. So I do industrials and mock trials and seniors radio, and industrials or commercials or any kind of work that I can get, and I really enjoy it.
Interesting. And so now you have turned into an actor now.
Yes,
They're from a farmer
to a professional actor.
to a professional actor. That's a lot of things you did in your life there.
Oh yes, I've
Yes.
had quite a few jobs.
Yes,
yeah.
a few jobs. But your story, A Bump on the Log, did it start here in Chicago in the States, or did it start in Ireland?
It started.
When you look at a bump on the log, you wonder, what kind of story is this?
Well, I injured my left leg when I was 8 years old.
8 years old? Okay.
When I was 9, the bump was there for a year.
A year?
And the doctors wanted to amputate my leg.
Now, when you say you injured how did you injure your leg?
Well, I was playing around an old building with my brother, and I stood on the rim of a pail.
Yes.
And it was an old rusted pail.
Yes.
And the rim just came up and hit my shin like a trap.
Yeah.
And the bone got infected over the years. Yeah. And the doctor said if it didn't come off, I would probably die of cancer.
So they want to amputate your leg then?
Yes.
At the age of 8?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I see. So evidently I see your leg is here.
Well, when I was 9 years old,
yeah.
They sent me for radiation. My mother wouldn't let them take my leg off.
I see.
So I went and had radiation done, but the bump was stubborn. It didn't want to leave. And then the local people took up a collection and sent me to Lourdes in France.
Now you were living in Northern Ireland,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Was the hospital in your town where you were growing up, or did you have to go someplace else to the hospital?
I had to go to Belfast, which was about 60 miles away.
60 miles away?
And I had to go there on my own and stay there because the transportation was too expensive for my parents to come visit.
Oh.
But when I went there first, I went in an ambulance, so my mother was able to come with me and sign the papers and stuff. Yes.
My God! So at that time, Northern Ireland was governed by the English.
Yes.
Right. So at least they had some good hospitals there in Belfast.
Well, they had good hospitals, but recently I read in the paper that it's not as good as it used to be.
I understand.
There's waiting lists now compared to what they used to be.
I saw you went to the hospital. They gave you radiation. Right? Mm-hmm. And how long was that?
That was something like 6 weeks.
6 weeks. And then it cured everything then.
It
got your leg here.
The radiation didn't cure it, so when I came home, then the locals took up a collection and they sent me to France, to Lourdes. And about 2 weeks after I came back from Lourdes, the bump, as they called it, started to recede. It went away, and I never had any trouble since.
I see. Well, let's see now. When you were living in Ireland at 9 years old, you went 9 years old, you went to the hospital, you did the radiation, came back, then cured. Now, what did your father say?
My father didn't believe in anything like that. He said it was just superstitions.
Believe on what? Well, what did he believe on? What?
Well, my mother believed in Our Lady of Lourdes.
Our Lady of Lourdes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what is Lady of Lourdes?
Well, this is where Our Lady was supposed to have appeared over 100 years ago, and there's supposed to be a cure. There's spring water there.
Spring water?
There's supposed to be a cure in it. And actually, when you go there as a pilgrim, they hold you down in this spring water.
Yes, okay.
And then, of course, they have a big basilica there where they have, if you're Catholic, of course, they have Mass there and stuff. So my mother believed in the Our Lady, but my dad, he didn't really believe in any of that stuff. So there was a little friction there between my parents. So that's where the drama comes in for the play.
I see. Now, so the play, when you say a bump on the leg, the play is based on your leg when that bucket or that pail cut into your leg, hit your bone, got infected.
Yes.
And you went to the hospital in Belfast, radiation, it didn't cure, you came back. Now, why didn't your mother send you to one of the shrines in Ireland? I mean, there had to have been some shrines in Ireland.
Well, there was, but they were having this pilgrimage from Ireland, so I guess there was about maybe between 60 and 80 people all going at one time.
Oh, yeah.
So the local neighbors, they all chipped in, but I had to go on my own.
On your own?
I was the only child on the pilgrimage.
Well, then who took care of you going down there?
Well, I met two nurses from Galway.
Galway, yeah.
When I was on the pilgrimage, and they kind of took me under their wing, and they looked after me the whole trip, which was
And
very
so
nice.
you went by yourself with the group. No one was going to take care of you, huh?
That's correct. I still have a picture of all the pilgrims, and I was the only child in the picture.
I see. And as you were traveling, these two nuns or sisters liked you, and they became your guardian. it looks
They
like.
sure did.
And this is what your book is about then.
That's correct.
Your book is about your bump on the leg
Yes.
and what you went through,
That,
and what happened to your bump on the leg.
yes.
Right. So how long so you must have went by boat then, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go by train and boat. There was no tunnel in
Yeah,
those days,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And it was a long trip. For a boy that age, it seemed like forever.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
It
yeah.
was probably less than 2 weeks, maybe 10 days or
I
something.
see. Traveling.
But yes,
And then you were 9, 10 years old?
yes. I was 9
Interesting.
years old. yeah.
9 years old, and your mother wanted you to go, but your father said no.
That's correct.
See?
She would have gone too if she was
To
able
afford
to
it,
afford
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
it was expensive to
Yeah.
to travel,
I see.
because you had to go to England, and then
Yeah,
you had to go
yeah,
to France,
yeah.
and then when you got to Paris,
Yeah.
you still had another 500 miles south to go to Lourdes.
500 miles?
500 miles. So
What
that-
what year was that?
That was 1951,
Right after the war.
right after World War II. Yeah.
1951. So you traveled to France, right?
Yes,
And you had two sisters taking care of you.
that's correct.
And so when you got there, how did you have to register, or they must have had some people there registering you to go in and see if they could cure you, right, in the water?
Oh yes.
Yeah, explain that. What happened?
Actually, they had what they call like water trough, like
Water trough, yeah.
and one side was for the males, and the other side was for the females.
Yes.
And when you went in there, they wrapped a kind of a towel or some kind of a cloth around you,
Yeah.
and two men would hold you down in the water.
Okay.
And of course, I panicked. I didn't
Yeah,
want to go
yeah.
because spring water
yeah,
was very
yeah.
cold. And I was going like this. I was just saying, no, my leg,
Yeah,
my leg.
yeah.
So two guys got me, and
Ah.
they dunked me.
Yeah.
So that was the way they did it. I
I
don't know if
see.
they still do that, but that's the way it
Yeah.
was done.
So
then.
they dunk you, and that was supposed to be a cure.
That's supposed to be the cure.
And then when you did it before, did you pray? And did you pray after?
Both
Both.
before you went in and afterwards. And of course, they were selling the holy water there
Yeah,
too.
yes.
You know, you could get little
Yeah,
bottles.
yeah.
People took it back
Yeah.
for souvenirs.
I see.
Yes.
So how long did you spend there in France?
I'm not sure because it's almost 70 years ago, but
Yeah.
I would say the whole trip maybe took 10 days. I
10
think,
days?
something like that. I would
I
imagine
see.
because you had to allow time to travel.
Yeah.
You know, you had to take 2 boats going,
Yeah.
and the different trains
Yeah.
through England and then through France
Yeah.
and back again.
Yeah. So then you spent about 2 or 3 days at the shrine.
I would say that, yes, probably
Two or three days at the
Yeah.
shrine. And did you get dumped many a times, or just the one time?
Just the one time.
One time.
Yeah.
And what did the officers at the when you went there to register, what did they say, that it was going to help you or not?
Well, they didn't really speak to us because they spoke French, and
Yeah.
of course we spoke English.
Yeah.
And it's not like today, you know, Europe's all one,
Yeah.
so it was different. It was
Yeah,
different
yeah.
back then. And then after World War II, there wasn't very good relationships between the British and the French. So maybe
Interesting.
they thought we were
Yeah.
we were English. You know.
Now, how about where did you stay?
I remember staying in a hotel, but I don't know, the one in Paris,
Yeah.
I remember it was a beautiful place. And it was the first time I ever eat French food.
French food, yeah,
Because everything back home was rationed until 1954.
yeah.
And when I eat French bread and grapes and
Yeah.
wine
Yeah.
and ice, the first time I ever had ice in a
Yeah,
drink.
yeah.
And it was really, it was beautiful. You know,
I
the food
see.
was delicious. You know,
I see.
so.
So now, do you think they dunked you in the water? You probably said a prayer, and you didn't know if your leg got cured or not,
No.
right? You didn't know if it got cured or not.
'Cause-
So you went and you had French. You had at least a little vacation, and like you said, the first time you had French food.
Yes.
They- And when you did the chef take a liking to you, because you must have been the only boy on this trip there, and did he give you more food than the other people?
Well, usually on the trains you just got buffets.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
got the little boxes with food in
Yeah.
it. So the part of the play that the playwright put in there is really a little bit of fiction. You know, it's
fiction?
a little extra drama there. You know, but the food in the hotels were great.
I agree.
The food when you were traveling on the train, especially after the war, wasn't always the greatest. You know, it was you had something like what they call fishy water and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that, or just just a sandwich or something like
So
that.
okay, so you got they baptized you in the leg. You came back to Ireland, right?
Right,
Not knowing if it cured you or not.
that's correct.
And how long did it take for your father and mother and you to realize that your leg got cured?
At least a couple of weeks after I got back.
A couple weeks?
A couple of weeks after I got back, the lump started to go away, and it's been gone ever since.
And now, what did the hospital? What did the doctor say?
Oh, doctors just said it was, you know, it was just superstition. That,
Superstition?
that it had to be, it had to be the radiation.
Radiation?
Yeah.
I see. So God didn't play a role in curing your leg.
Well, the people that collected the money then sent me there, and they swore upside down
Yeah.
that it was a miracle.
Yeah.
And that's where the drama comes in the play,
Yeah.
where the questions is going to be, was the doctor wrong? Did the radiation work? Or was it a miracle?
I see.
But a lot of people believed it was, and they waited 5 years to print anything about it to see what
I
it come
see.
back. It didn't come back in the 5 years, so one of the local reporters then did a write-up in the paper.
In the paper on your leg there.
And took a picture,
Yeah.
used my passport picture
Yeah.
because I was only 9 years
Yeah.
old at the time, so
Yeah.
they used that.
Well, you know, God plays a very important part in our life,
Well, that's true.
and probably God did help because you had faith in God.
Yes. Well,
Your mother had faith in God.
she definitely did.
Yeah, your father didn't. It sound like
No.
your father, but I wondering after that if your father believed that God did help you.
Well, I think he worried as much as my mother did,
Yeah.
but he didn't show it
Yeah.
because it was a man's world back
Yeah.
in those
Yes.
days, and the men didn't show their emotions
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way the
yeah.
ladies did. You know.
Yeah. So your story is about faith.
Yes, it is.
Your story is about a mother that loves her boy.
Yes.
Your story is about your mother trying to find a solution to heal your leg.
True.
She tried the hospital way, the doctor's way, and then she tried the old faith way of God.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And what do you think?
Well, at this age, I don't know. I go through it in my mind
Yeah.
so much now. But as a child, of course, I believed that I was
Yeah.
cured at
Yeah.
Lourdes, you know. But as you get older, I ask myself, could it have been the radiation? I don't know.
Yeah.
The playwright makes it sound like, you know, he tells both sides of
Yeah,
the story.
yeah,
And it's up to the audience. Some of the audience were crying
yeah.
because some of the ladies in the audience had breast cancer
Yes.
and got cured,
Yeah.
or it went
Yeah.
into remission. And they were kind of in there with the story, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Especially there was a scene there where my mother was praying over my leg.
Yeah.
And the women, I saw some of the women
Yeah.
crying.
Very touchy. Yeah.
So the playwright, I think, did a very good job with this story,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, how long did it take you to write this story?
It took about 10 years.
10 years?
Because the way it was written first, it couldn't be produced as a play. And a lot of theaters didn't want to do it because they thought it leaned too much towards religion.
There's nothing wrong with religion.
No.
James.
And different reasons. They had some places they had a lot of scripts that they haven't even produced yet.
Oh, okay.
And this wasn't written as a play. So it is now. It's written as a play now. We've done the reading and got feedback from, there was about 50 people there at Chief O'Neill's. And most of the people I spoke to said it was a very compelling and interesting story.
Now, who is producing this story?
Well, this is Subtech Theater.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, they usually partner with some other groups. They're an itinerant group that goes from one theater to another. And they're hoping to do a couple of more readings. And if we get feedback, more feedback, perhaps we'll be able to do a play.
Well, you know, James, my wife and I, we went and saw the play, and it was excellent. I enjoyed it. It shows how I think the good Lord had a part.
Had a hand in that.
Oh, yes. I mean, and I think that anyone that wants to see a play where the good Lord is helping to heal health, I mean, go see this play.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you and Sherry going to see it.
And you had about 5 or 6 actors acting it out.
Yes.
You were reading. You had a young boy.
Yes.
That was about 8, 9 years old. He was excellent.
He was. Yes.
You had a lady jumping on the bar. That was excellent, where she was promoting giving. Raising funds for you to go to France.
Yes.
That was excellent.
Yes.
Your mother was excellent.
Yes.
And your father was terrific. He didn't want you to go, and he didn't believe about it.
Yes.
I mean, the whole story was good.
I thought so too.
Excellent there.
Yes.
And so I think, as I mentioned, people should go and see your play.
Thank you.
Because if they have cancer or some type of sickness, it's a play where they're using the hospital to cure themselves, and also the good Lord.
It's spiritual too. Yeah.
Spiritual.
It does help. Yes.
Oh yes, you know, spiritual always helps me.
Yes.
And so I enjoy that play. You know, I as I mentioned, I saw another play at the Irish Center, and your play was just as good as that Irish Center.
That's
you know, you had music. You had good actors.
Yes.
And the boy was terrific.
Yes.
The boy was good.
Good playwright, good director,
Good director,
producer.
good producer. The whole thing. Now, what is next for this story?
Well, we're looking for space to do at least a couple of more readings if we can. So far, we haven't got it, but the producers are working on it.
Okay. Yes.
I was also wondering about Oak Park. You know, the Oak Park Arms, where we do the radio shows.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe they might have a space there. Maybe we could use that.
Interesting. Yeah.
We'll go to find out about that.
Now, the person that wrote the story, what's his name?
Lee Johnson.
He did an excellent job.
Yes, he did.
I mean, the write the story.
Yes.
The making with feeling.
Yes.
And emotion.
Yes.
And that spiritual way of telling the story.
He did an excellent job, I thought. Yes.
Yes. There. How many other people did you have to help you write the story before you met him?
Well, I just give the details, what I could remember of it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of details I don't remember because it's so long ago.
Yeah.
But I wrote down a few details, and when I gave it to him first, he said, I don't really want to do it because somebody else had already written their own version of it, you know, but it wasn't written with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
I
that
see.
You could produce it. So I said, well, how would it do if we change the title? You know, So we changed the title.
A bump on the leg.
Leg, yes.
A bump on the leg.
On the leg. And we changed the title, and then we changed some of the details, changed some of the characters as well. And the 2 nurses, we used their real names, so those people were real people. I imagine they're not around today, but they were very kind. They were very nice to me, and they treated me very good.
You know, you mentioned that you went in the Army, right?
Yes.
Now, in the Army, you're doing a lot of marching.
Yes.
How did that leg affect you in the Army?
Well, it did get tired a little bit at times, but when I went to take when I came to the United States first,
Yeah.
you had to sign an agreement that you would sign up for the draft
Yeah.
within 6 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't have much space. I was living with my aunt in New York. We didn't
Yeah.
have much space there, and I thought maybe I would push up the draft and get it over with.
Yeah.
So when I went to take the test, they kept asking me about my leg. They
Yeah.
said, "Well, your leg's a little thinner than the other
Yeah.
one." And I said, "It's okay. I just broke it. It'll be fine."
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So I said, "Okay." That's when the Vietnamese War was starting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know how close I came.
Yeah.
I got out in March, and I think my outfit, the 1st Division in Fort Riley, Kansas, got sent over in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how close I came
Ah,
to
yeah.
the second miracle. You know. So probably I put a lot of pressure on my parents by going in. I
sure.
probably could have. I didn't have to go.
Sure. Sure.
You know, I
Yeah,
probably could have got out of.
Well, the good Lord saved you.
Yeah, again. That's
Now,
the second.
now, why did you decide to tell the story now? You had it when you were 9 years old. You're up in your 70s right now, and you want to tell the story.
Well, I'm retired 12 years now, and I needed a project.
Need a project?
I needed something to do because
Yeah.
I'm in my comfort zone, and
Yeah.
I wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe this story might be something to pass on to the next generation.
Yes.
Or my grandkids.
Yeah.
I got 3
Sure.
grandkids.
Yeah.
And maybe somewhere down the road, this might be of interest to them. Like
Oh,
it's history.
sure.
It's true. It's a real
Sure, yeah.
story. So I thought maybe why not give it a shot.
Well, you
know,
must have been telling the story to your daughters. How long have they been hearing your story?
They're tired listening
They're
to it.
Huh?
But my daughter did come to the show, and she really appreciated, you know,
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah,
She
she-
said
yeah.
there was an awful lot about your story that I didn't realize, you know.
Oh,
and of course,
interesting.
a lot of it's dramatized, you
Dramatized,
know,
sure.
to make it interesting to everybody, whether people believe or they don't believe. You know,
Yes.
it's up.
Yeah.
And of course, it caused a little bit of argument here and there, but that's what drama is about. You
Yes,
know,
drama,
everybody
yeah.
isn't going to agree
Yeah.
on everything in the
Yeah.
story. And the way the playwright did it, adding the lady up on the bar and all that stuff, that really added a little comedy to it.
Right,
you know.
right,
It
right,
didn't
right.
sound like it was a sad
Yes.
story. You know,
Yes.
it's a little bit of everything. there,
Right.
you know.
It was a good
Yeah.
story. And also, how did you choose the music?
I didn't even know that story. Here I am, an Irishman, and I didn't know that song. I'm not a man you meet every day.
Yeah.
And it's been recorded by quite a few other groups.
Yeah.
You know, so the producers came up with that, and I
Yeah.
thought it was a great introduction to the play.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because
there.
it gave me a chance there. I'm sitting at the bar, you know,
Yes,
and listening
yes.
to the music, and
Right.
that was the opener to the beginning of the story. And I
Right.
think that was an excellent idea.
Yeah, very excellent. And I, as you mentioned, I did like when your mother was praying over your leg.
Yes, that's
Because
when the lady started to cry.
You're right. That was a touching story because I filmed it,
Yeah.
and I was going to cry
Yes. Yeah.
because it was a touching story
Yes, it was.
where it shows how faith and spirituality comes into being.
Yes.
Yeah, because we all need to get healed sometimes,
Yeah.
and maybe most of the times, God, the good Lord, to come and help us.
And it really got me a little bit in the throat when I saw the other people crying. I said, boy, we're really, you know, we're really hitting a nerve here, you know, emotion. You know,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is. Well, you know what? What is your favorite motivation statement you want to make?
energy flows where your focus goes. So if you focus on something, I think you're going to get it sooner or later.
Yeah.
It's like some sportsmen say, when I win this fight or when I win this game. They don't say, if I win this game. So I think if you focus on something and say, this is what I'm going to do, that's what you're going to do.
Excellent. Excellent story. I would tell anyone to go your next hearing, go hear the bump on the leg.
Okay.
A bump on the leg. Excellent
I
story.
really appreciate that. Thank you
And
very
God does play a good part of our life, our
Yeah.
spiritual life.
much. Yes.
the-
I don't think we appreciate it, but it's true.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Okay.